They said, the strongest warriors are forged in fire. They didn't tell me the fire would burn this long. They didn't tell me the heat wouldn't just forge, it would scar. They didn't warn me that it would strip me down, layer by layer, until I'd question if there was anything left worth saving. Here I am, alone, trapped. Every muscle in my body screams for rest, and every corner of my mind whispers the same lie. Stop. You've done enough. Let go. But I can't. I won't. Because there's no one else. There's no cavalry, no savior, no miracle waiting just around the corner. There's only me and this hope, small, fragile, ridiculous, that somehow I'll make it out. Isn't that the cruelest part of all this? Hope. It's the weight you can't put down, the chain you can't break. They call it light, but sometimes it's the heaviest thing of all. It keeps you tethered when every instinct begs you to cut loose and let the darkness swallow you whole. But I refuse, because hope, no matter how small, is mine. They can take my strength, my freedom, my peace, but they can't touch the ember inside me. And so I sit here, beaten, bloodied, but breathing, still breathing. I wasn't always like this, you know. I used to laugh. Can you imagine that? I had friends, dreams, plans. I thought life was a straight path, a journey with a clear destination. I thought if I worked hard, if I gave everything I had, the world would reward me. But life doesn't work like that. Life doesn't care how hard you try or how much you give. It's cruel, indifferent. It takes and takes, leaving you with less every time. But maybe that's the point. Maybe life isn't about fairness or balance. Maybe it's about what you do when the scales are tipped, when the odds are against you, when you're left with nothing but the will to keep moving forward. Do you know what that's like? To fight when there's nothing left to fight for. To stand when your legs are shaking, your vision blurs, and every voice in your head screams for you to fall. That's what it means to endure. That's what it means to survive. And that's what I'll do. Not because I'm strong, or brave, or heroic, but because I have to. Because there's no other choice. I've lost count of the days I've been here. Maybe it's been weeks, maybe months. Time doesn't exist in places like this. It stretches, bends, loops in on itself until you're not sure if you're living or just existing. But I know one thing. Every second I spend here, I'm still fighting. Every breath I take is an act of rebellion. Every thought I refuse to surrender is a victory, and I will keep fighting. For what? I don't know. Maybe it's for the person I used to be. Maybe it's for the people who believed in me before I forgot how to believe in myself. Or maybe it's for the chance, just the chance, that there's something better waiting on the other side of this. Pain is a strange thing, isn't it? It sharpens you, dulls you, consumes you, defines you. There are moments when I think the pain will break me, that it'll swallow me whole and leave nothing behind. But then there are moments, brief and fleeting, when I realize the pain hasn't broken me, it's shaped me. It's carved away the excess, the unnecessary, the weak. It's left me raw, exposed, but real. And maybe that's what it takes to find strength. Not the absence of pain, but the acceptance of it. Not running from it, but facing it head on. letting it tear you apart, and then piecing yourself back together. Stronger, wiser, harder. I've thought about giving up, more times than I care to admit. The temptation is always there, lurking in the shadows, whispering promises of peace, of rest. But giving up isn't peace. It's emptiness. It's silence. And I can't accept that. Not yet. Not ever. Because as long as I'm breathing, there's a chance. As long as my heart beats, there's hope. And as long as there's hope, I will fight. Not because it's easy, not because I want to, but because I have to. Because that's what warriors do. I don't know what waits for me outside these walls. Maybe freedom, maybe more battles, more pain, maybe nothing at all. But I do know this. When I leave this place, I'll be different. I'll be stronger. Not in the way people think, muscles and weapons and skill, but stronger in the ways that matter, in will, in spirit, in the unshakable belief that no matter how dark the world becomes, there is always a light worth fighting for. And if that light ever fades, I'll create my own. Because that's what hope is. It's not waiting for someone to save you. It's saving yourself. It's choosing to believe in something better, even when the world gives you every reason not to. So I'll sit here, I'll wait, I'll endure, and when the time comes, I'll rise, not as the boy who entered this place, naive and unprepared, but as the warrior who survived it, the warrior who found strength in suffering, who turned pain into purpose, who fought not because he had to, but because he chose to. Because hope is all I have, and hope is enough. Hope isn't just a feeling, it's a force, an unrelenting pulse that pushes you forward when everything else screams at you to stop. And maybe that's what makes it so dangerous, so exhausting. Hope demands everything. It demands your pain, your sweat, your tears, your belief, even when that belief feels like the only fragile thing holding you together. But what's the alternative? To let go of hope? To let the darkness win? No, not me. Not now. Not ever. I've seen the faces of those who've given up, hollow, lifeless, resigned. I can't become one of them. I can't let myself fade into that kind of silence, because even if hope is painful, even if it's heavy, it's alive, it's real. It's the fire in my chest that refuses to die, no matter how much the world tries to extinguish it. But I'll be honest, there are moments when I envy them, the ones who gave in. They don't feel this agony, this constant ache that wraps itself around your ribs and squeezes until you can barely breathe. They don't wake up every day to the weight of failure, of regret, of memories that haunt you like ghosts. They're free from it all, and yet they're empty. They've traded the fight for a hollow existence, and that's a trade I can't make. Because as much as it hurts to keep going, it would hurt even more to stop. To know I gave up on myself. To know I let the darkness win. No, I won't be that person. I won't let my story end like that. Life isn't fair. That's something I've learned over and over again. It doesn't care how much you've suffered or how hard you've tried. It'll throw you into the fire without a second thought, without mercy. And when you finally crawl out, burned and broken, it'll shove you back in again. That's the way it is. That's the way it's always been. But here's the thing. Life doesn't define you. You define you. It doesn't matter how many times you fall. What matters is that you get back up. What matters is that you keep going. No matter how many scars you carry, no matter how heavy the burden becomes. Scars. God, I've got so many now. Some you can see, etched into my skin, like a map of all the battles I've fought. Others are invisible, buried deep inside where no one can see. Those are the ones that hurt the most. The ones that remind me of every mistake, every failure, every person I couldn't save. But those scars, they're mine. They're proof that I've lived, that I've fought, that I've survived. And if they're all I have to show for my life, then so be it. I'll wear them like armor, a testament to the battles I've endured. There's a voice in my head, one that never seems to shut up. It tells me I'm not enough, that I'll never be enough. It tells me I'm wasting my time, that I'm chasing something I'll never catch. Sometimes it's so loud, so convincing, that I almost believe it. Almost. But then I remind myself that voice is a liar. It's fear, doubt, insecurity, all the things that want to see me fail, and I refuse to listen, because deep down I know the truth. I am enough. I always have been. I just need to prove it to myself, to the world, to anyone who ever doubted me. They say suffering makes you stronger. I used to think that was just something people said to make themselves feel better. But now, I'm starting to understand. Suffering doesn't make you strong. It reveals your strength. It strips away everything superficial, everything you thought you needed, and forces you to confront what's left. And what's left is who you really are. So who am I? I'm not the scared, naive boy who thought life would be easy. I'm not the broken warrior who thought he couldn't go on. I'm something else now. Something harder, sharper, more resilient. I'm the sum of every wound, every loss, every victory. I'm the fire that refuses to go out, no matter how hard the world tries to smother it. Sometimes, when the silence gets too loud, I close my eyes and imagine a better place. A place where the air is clean, where the sun warms my face, where laughter fills the space instead of this heavy, oppressive quiet. I don't know if that place exists, but the thought of it, the hope of it, is enough to keep me going. Because if I stop now, I'll never know. I'll never see what's waiting for me on the other side of this darkness. And I can't accept that. I won't. Hope is all I have. It's not much. It's not a sword or a shield. It won't protect me from the pain, or the fear, or the doubt. But it's something. It's a light, faint and flickering, but there. And as long as that light exists, so will I. So I'll keep fighting, I'll keep enduring, I'll keep moving forward, one step at a time, no matter how slow, no matter how painful, because that's what it means to live. That's what it means to survive. And one day, when I finally break free from these chains, when I step out of the darkness and into the light, I'll look back and know that every moment of suffering, every ounce of pain was worth it. Because I'll have earned my freedom. I'll have earned my life. And until that day comes, I'll hold on to the one thing no one can take from me. Hope. Hope. It's fragile, isn't it? Like a thread, so easy to snap, to lose, to let slip through your fingers. But it's also unyielding. It stretches, bends, and twists under the weight of despair. Yet somehow, it doesn't break. At least, not yet. Not for me. I've been close though, so close to letting it go. There have been nights when the darkness pressed so tightly against my chest that I thought I'd suffocate. Moments when the silence screamed louder than any battle I'd fought. Times when I wanted nothing more than to close my eyes and drift into nothingness, to let the pain dissolve into the void. But then, in those moments, something stirs, something whispers, soft but fierce, like a flame refusing to die in the wind. You're still here, and that's the thing, isn't it? I'm still here, after everything I've endured, every loss, every wound, every failure. I'm still standing. I may be battered and bruised, scarred in ways I can't even begin to describe, but I'm here. And as long as I'm here, there's a chance to heal, a chance to fight, a chance to win. It's not about strength anymore. It's not about courage or bravery or any of the things I thought made a warrior. It's about endurance. It's about looking the darkness in the eye and saying, "You don't scare me, not anymore." Because the truth is, I've already faced my worst fears. I've lost people I thought I couldn't live without. I've failed in ways that left me hollow, broken. I've stood on the edge of the abyss and stared into its depths, and yet I chose to step back. I chose to keep going, even when it felt like there was nothing left to fight for. That's the irony, isn't it? The pain doesn't stop just because you keep going. It doesn't lessen because you've decided to endure. It stays with you like a shadow, always there, always whispering in the back of your mind. But maybe that's what makes you stronger. Not the absence of pain, but the ability to carry it without letting it crush you. And I'm carrying a lot. Too much sometimes. The weight of my failures. The ghosts of those I couldn't save. The memories of a life I'll never get back. It's heavy, so heavy. And there are days when I think it'll finally be too much. But then, I remind myself, if I've carried it this far, I can carry it a little further. Because giving up isn't an option. Not for me. Not now. Not ever. The world outside these walls, it's cruel, unforgiving. It doesn't care about your pain or your struggles. It'll chew you up and spit you out without a second thought. And yet, it's still worth fighting for. Because somewhere out there, amidst all the chaos and cruelty, there's beauty, there's light, there's life. And that's what I'm fighting for. Not for myself, not for glory or revenge or any of the things that used to drive me, but for the chance to see that light again, to feel the warmth of the sun on my face, to hear the laughter of children, to taste the sweetness of freedom, to live. But living, it's not just breathing, is it? It's more than that. It's fighting for something bigger than yourself. It's enduring the pain, the loss, the heartache, because you believe in something greater, because you believe that no matter how dark it gets, there's always a reason to keep going. And maybe that's what hope is. Not a promise, not a guarantee, but a reason. A reason to fight, a reason to endure, a reason to believe that even in the darkest of times, there's still a light worth chasing. I think about the people who gave me that hope, the ones who stood by me, who believed in me, even when I didn't believe in myself. They're gone now, most of them, taken by the same cruelty that's tried to break me time and time again. But their voices are still with me, their words etched into my soul like scars. They tell me to keep going. They tell me to fight, not just for myself, but for them, for the dreams they never got to see fulfilled, for the lives they never got to live. And I will. I'll fight for them, for their memory, for the hope they gave me. Because if I stop now, it's not just my fight that ends, it's theirs too. And I can't let that happen. I won't. Pain, loss, suffering, they're constant, unrelenting. They shape you, change you in ways you never thought possible, but they don't define you. What defines you is how you rise from them, how you take the broken pieces of yourself and turn them into something stronger, something unbreakable. And that's what I'm doing. Piece by piece, step by step, I'm rebuilding. I'm finding strength in the cracks, in the scars, in the spaces where the light filters through. It's not easy, it never is, but it's worth it, because one day I'll look back on this moment, on this pain, and I'll see it for what it really is. Not the end, but the beginning, the start of something new, something better, something worth fighting for. And until that day comes, I'll keep holding on to hope, to strength, to the belief that no matter how dark it gets, there's always a reason to keep going. Because when hope is all you have, it's all you need. Hope. It's such a small word, isn't it? 4 letters, just a whisper on the tongue. And yet, it carries the weight of entire worlds. It bears the burden of every shattered dream, every desperate plea, every silent prayer whispered into the void. It's fragile, but it's fierce. And right now, it's the only thing keeping me alive. I think about that sometimes, the fragility of hope, how it can flicker like a candle in the wind, one gust away from being snuffed out. But I also think about its strength, how it refuses to die, even when the world does everything it can to extinguish it. Hope is defiance, it's rebellion, it's the quiet, unshakable belief that the story isn't over, even when every page seems to scream that it is. And maybe that's why it's so powerful, because hope doesn't need proof or reason. It doesn't need logic or guarantees. It exists because it has to, because without it, there's nothing. The hardest part of all this isn't the pain. It's not the exhaustion, the hunger, the constant battle to stay upright when every muscle in my body wants to collapse. No, the hardest part is the waiting. The endless hours spent in silence with nothing but my own thoughts for company. The way the minutes stretch into hours, the hours into days, until time itself feels meaningless. In that silence, the doubts creep in. They whisper in my ear, their voices soft but insistent. You're not strong enough. You're not brave enough. You'll never make it out of here. And for a moment, just a moment, I almost believed them. But then I remember, those doubts aren't real. They're not the truth. They're the shadows that feed on fear, the echoes of a mind pushed to its limits. And I won't let them win, because no matter how loud they scream, there's another voice inside me, a quieter one, but stronger. A voice that says, keep going, you can do this, you have to do this. I've learned something about pain during my time here. It doesn't just hurt, it teaches. It strips you bare, lays you open, and forces you to confront the parts of yourself you'd rather ignore. It's brutal, unrelenting, but it's honest. Pain doesn't lie. It doesn't pretend to be something it's not. It simply is. And in that honesty, there's a kind of clarity, a kind of strength. Because once you face the worst of it, once you felt it break over you like a wave and realized you're still standing, you start to see the truth. Pain isn't the enemy. Fear is. Fear of the pain. Fear of the unknown. Fear of failure. But fear is a liar, and I won't let it control me. Not anymore. There's a moment in every battle, every fight, when you feel like you can't go on, when the weight of the world is pressing down on you, and it feels like one more step, one more swing, one more breath will break you. That's the moment that defines you. That's the moment when you have to dig deeper than you ever thought possible and find the strength to keep going. I'm in that moment now, trapped in a battle that feels endless, fighting an enemy I can't see, can't touch, but feel in every fiber of my being. It's not a sword or a spear I'm fighting. It's despair, it's doubt. It's the relentless voice in my head that tells me to give up, to let go, to stop fighting. But I won't, because I know that if I can survive this moment, if I can push through this pain, this fear, this doubt, then I can survive anything. They say that the darkest hour comes just before the dawn. I don't know if that's true, but I like to believe it is. I like to believe that somewhere beyond this darkness, there's a light waiting for me, a new day, a new beginning. And when that dawn comes, when I finally step out of this shadow and into the light, I'll carry this battle with me. I'll carry the scars, the lessons, the strength I've found in the depths of my suffering. Because this battle, it's not just about survival. It's about transformation. It's about becoming something more. I don't know what the future holds. I don't know if I'll ever be free of this pain, this struggle, this fight, but I do know this. I won't stop. I won't give in. Because I am more than my pain. I am more than my fear. I am more than the darkness that tries to consume me. I am a warrior, and warriors don't quit. They don't surrender. They don't let the world decide their fate. They fight. They endure. They rise. And that's what I'll do. I'll rise. Not because it's easy, not because it's what I want, but because it's what I have to do. Because hope demands it. Because life demands it. One day, this will all be a memory, a chapter in my story, a piece of the puzzle that makes me who I am. And when that day comes, I'll look back on this moment, on this pain, on this struggle, and I'll know that it was worth it, that every step, every breath, every heartbeat was a victory, because hope is all I have, and hope is enough.